a man whose name I always pronounce very carefully, Howard Cox, is with us. He is the founder of Fair Fuel UK. Howard, great to have you on the programme. And we know you ran, of course, against Sir Sadiq Khan. You were the Reform UK candidate, but the main reason you're on is because you're the founder of Fair Fuel UK as well. We know that Sir Sadiq is to double down on his criticism of Donald Trump despite a slapdown from the government. He's got a meeting of EU diplomats, and apparently Sir Sadiq is going to say, at a moment when we see trade wars and tariffs posing a real threat to international affairs, I'm convinced that we should be looking at what more we can do to strengthen our relationship as a counterweight to these trends. He has described Mr. Trump as racist, sexist and a homophobe and likened his tactics to the fascists of the 20th century. And when the president was elected for a second term in November, Sadiq Khan said, "Many will be fearful about what it will mean for democracy and for women's rights, or how the result impacts the situation in the Middle East or the fate of Ukraine. Others will be worried about the future of NATO and tackling the climate crisis." Is there anything we shouldn't be worried about now Donald Trump is leader of the free world?
Yes, I love seeing Sadiq, he's onto the David Lemmy School of Diplomacy. So from my point of view, I mean, he should keep his nose out of international affairs. He should be running London. He should be trying to make the streets safer, reducing congestions on our roads, and above all, actually stimulating people to come to London, spending their money here. Those are the sorts of things he should be doing. He should not be involved with any international politics whatsoever.
He's also going to say that Brexit was a mistake. I know it's a huge shock to you, Howard, that Sir Sadiq Khan would have... I'm glad you're sitting down, that Sir Sadiq Khan would have that opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's got an opinion on everything. I mean, obviously, I didn't expect to win as London Mayor, but if I'd been there, I would not be interfering in international politics. And that's the whole point. He should be focusing on London. There's so much wrong with London at the moment. People are scared to come into London. There are small businesses and, sole traders aren't coming to London because of the cost of bringing their cars in there due to congestion charges and ULEZs, you name it. That man should just focus totally and utterly on his job, and that is looking after London.
Can I ask you about another Labour politician? This is Jonathan Reynolds, the business secretary. This has just emerged really in the last hour or so. Jonathan Reynolds, the business secretary, he is alleged, and we haven't got a reply from Labour yet, and as soon as we get one, we will let you know, but he is alleged to have falsified his CV and to have said that he was a solicitor when actually he wasn't ever a fully trained, a fully qualified solicitor anyway. Hot off the heels of Rachel Reeves talking about her what she said, the best part of a decade at the Bank of England. Actually, she was there for 5.5 years, and there are all sorts of other issues as well. I mean, I'm 6'1". Am I the best part of 10 feet tall?
You're a good-looking lad, Peter. I've
known you.
For a bit. Yeah.
Valentine's Day was last week, Howard.
No, seriously, this is very, very worrying. All these lies that we keep hearing about people's ability, their skills and what they're bringing, and people voted on for these people believing what they say. And I'm afraid it's getting worse and worse and worse. I don't know where this is going. I do believe that these people that have lied on their CV, if it impacts on their job, very much should be resigning. They should go. Certainly there should be an investigation to look at how important what their lies are to the running of their job. Can
you stand over everything that's on your CV and on your election literature when you were standing for Reform UK, every single thing that's put down there?
Well, my grade C in physics and chemistry O-level. I mean, I'm sorry, that's not a lie.
Okay, yes. Well, I mean, a lot of people tell a few porky pies in their CV, but they're perhaps not running the country. Let's talk about something to do with your work with Fair Fuel UK. There is a tiny 20-mile-an-hour sign on a road blamed for a 6,000% surge in fines. This is St John's Lane in Bristol. It connects the A37 Wells Road with the A38. It was dropped from 30 miles an hour to 20 miles an hour in October, and it's caught around 2,000 motorists apparently. That's I mean, we laugh, but it's not funny when you get a fine, as I have on a number of occasions as a driver.
Yeah, but the local authority and the police are laughing all the way to the bank, aren't they? That's the issue we've got at the moment. This is a cash-grabbing policy. It's a similar thing that's happened not far from me on the A20 in South East London near Sidcup. I couldn't believe it that, my sat-nav was still telling me that, and it's an up-to-date sat-nav, only updated about 3 or 4 weeks before I travelled down there, and it was telling me it was a 40-mile-an-hour limit. Yeah. But suddenly it's dropped to something like 30, and I was doing 35. I got a fine, for it, and I didn't know about it. There was no signs. I went back, and apparently something like 6,000, and it's a similar figure, they've been refunded. down in South East. So maybe there is a chance that that could happen. But the signs should be of a reasonable size, and more importantly, there should be warnings beforehand that there's a massive change, and that sign should be readable.
Last year there were 34 fines. This year there were 1,648. Clearly things have changed dramatically there, and they're given £100 fine, although they do have the option of a speed awareness course as well, which I went on one of those once, and I mean my soul died during it.
Yes, I've been on one of those too, and I have to say it was actually for the fun. There was a couple of things I'd forgotten in my highway code, and I was caught out on it, and I think that's fine. You know, those sorts of things are a refresher course. I'm all for. But the fact is, Peter, this is a 30 mile an hour drop to 20 mile an hour. It's catching people out, and it's not. No one's doing 90 mile an hour in the 30 mile an hour zone. Yeah. This is genuine mistakes on people's halves, and it's costing them dearly.
I'm afraid the moment I lost, the moment I checked out of the old speed awareness course was when the person taking it said, "Never drive faster than your guardian angel can fly."
Who wrote that script?
I don't know. I mean, I think that was her own. She was fine up to that point. I'd been through the sort of 3.5 hours, and all of it made sort of vague sense. And then she said that, and I just thought, sorry. It reminds me of someone I once spoke to who was. Nobody knew why she was going out with this guy. It was a complete mystery why we were going out with this guy. She was this incredibly good-looking woman, and she was going out with this guy who, for lots of reasons, was bad news. And I said, what is it about this guy you're going out with? Well, what's the reason? And she just looked at me and went, I don't know. Maybe it's because he's an Aries.
You should go on the stand-up circuit.
There was just no way back after that. Howard, thank you very much indeed. Appreciate your thoughts. That's Howard Cox, who is founder of Fair Fuel UK, talking about all sorts of things. Jonathan Reynolds allegedly polishing his CV a little bit, making a few claims that perhaps aren't true. We will hope to hear from the Labour Party on that, and Mr. Reynolds.